कुंज बिहारी। गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद। श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayo Jayo Prabhupada, Jai Jai Prabhupada. नाम संकीर्तन की, श्री प्रभुपाद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So we have 6, 8, 21 to 30. A long list of shlokas. So the purport is on 30th. So we'll recite 30th first, but before that we'll just read the translations of 21. Text 21. May Lord Madhusudana, who carries a bow, very fearful for the demons, protect me during the fifth part of the day. In the evening, may Lord Madhav, appearing as Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwar, protect me. And in the beginning of night, may Lord Rishikesh protect me. At the dead of the night, in second and third parts of night, may Lord Padmanabh alone protect me. Text 22. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead who bears the Shivas on his chest protect me after midnight until the sky becomes pinkish. May Lord Janardhan, who carries a sword in his hand, protect me at the end of night during the last 4 ghatikas of night. May Lord Damodar protect me in the early morning, and may Lord Vishveshwara protect me during the junctions of day and night. Text 23. Set into motion by the Supreme Personality of Godhead and wandering in all the 4 directions, the disk of the Supreme Lord has sharp edges as destructive as fire of devastation at the end of the millennium. As a blazing fire burns dry grass to ashes with the resistance of the breeze, may that Sudarshan Chakra burn our enemies to ashes. Text 24. O club in the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you produce sparks of fire as powerful as thunderbolts, and you are extremely dear to the Lord. I am also his servant. Therefore, kindly help me pound to pieces the evil living beings known as Kushmandas, Vainayakas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Bhutas, and Grahas. Please pulverize them. Text 25. O best of conch shells, O Panchajanya, in the hands of the Lord, you are always filled with the breath of Lord Krishna. Therefore, you create a fearful sound vibration that causes trembling in the hearts of enemies like Rakshasas, Pramatha ghosts, Pretas, Matas, Pishachas, Brahmana ghosts with fearful eyes. O King of sharp-edged swords, you are engaged by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 26. O King of sharp-edged swords, you are engaged by Supreme Personality of Godhead. Please cut the soldiers of my enemies to pieces. Please cut them to pieces. O shield marked with 100 brilliant moon-like circles, please cover the eyes of sinful enemies. Pluck out their sinful eyes. Text 27-28. May the glorification of transcendental name, form, qualities and paraphernalia of the Supreme Personality of Godhead protect us from influence of bad planets, meteors, envious human beings, serpents, scorpions and animals like tigers and wolves. May it protect us from ghosts and material elements like earth, water, fire and air. And may it also protect us from lightning and our past sins. We are always afraid of these hindrances to our auspicious life. Therefore, may they all be completely destroyed by the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Text 29. Lord Garuda, the carrier of Lord Vishnu, is the most worshipable Lord, for he is as powerful as Supreme Lord himself. He is the personified Vedas and is worshipped by selected verses. May he protect us from all dangerous conditions, and may Lord Vishvakshena, the Personality of Godhead, also protect us from all dangers by his holy names. Now comes text 30. Sarvapadbhyo Hare Nama Rupa Yana Yudhani Naha Buddhindriya Manaha Pranan Pantu Parshada Bhushana Sarvapadbhyo Harernama Rupayana Yudhanina Buddhindriya Manaha Pranan Pantu Parshada Bhushana Sarvapadbhyo Harernama Rupayana Yudhanina Buddhindriya manah pranan Pantu parshada bhushana Sarvapadbhyo Harirnama Rupayana yudhanina Buddhindriya manah pranan Pantu parshada bhushana. Others. Sarvapadbhya, from all kinds of danger. Hare, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Nama, the holy name. Rupa, the transcendental form. Yana, the carriers. Ayudhani, and all the weapons. Naha, are. Buddhi, intelligence. Indriya, senses. Manaha, mind. Pranan, life air. Pantu, may they protect and maintain. Parshad Bhushana, the decorations who are personal associates. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead's holy names, His transcendental forms, His carriers and all the weapons decorating Him as personal associates protect our intelligence, senses, mind and life here from all dangers. There are various associates of Transcendental Personality of Godhead, and His weapons and carriers are among them. In the spiritual world, nothing is material. The sword, bow, club, disc and everything decorating the personal body of the Lord are spiritual living force. Therefore, the Lord is called Advaya Jnana, indicating that there is no difference between Him and His names, forms, qualities, weapons and so on. Anything pertaining to Him is in the category of spiritual existence. They are all engaged in the service of Lord in varieties of spiritual forms. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advait Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktarinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamam bande Shri Gurudintarnam Paramanan Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So, seeking blessings of all Vaishnavas to discuss on this very difficult chapter, Narayan Kavach, and a difficult verse. The absolute form of the Lord. The senior devotees, please bless. I can speak properly. So, we're reading from 6th canto, and this is 8th chapter going on. Narayan Kavash shield. Indradev is going to be endowed with this. And this canto is known as Poshanam, or the protection. Offers a protection to the Lord, to the devotees by Lord. So we had examples of Ajamil, how Ajamil got protected now, Indradev. So since Indradev is seeking protection from his enemies, but he has taken the right way, so he is getting the right results. Okay. Although the motive may not be the highest, but then fine. I mean, at least he has taken the right way, so that's good. Because the process is important. The process is right, then the results are generally right. How you use the results is a different story altogether, but then the process has to be right in first place. So he is following the right process. They goofed up in a process before, offended the Guru, and then all what happened, and then finally they are now writing, or correcting everything. And now everything will be falling in place. So now there are various ways in which this Narayan Kavach is protecting, is offering protection, is blessing with protection. Various types of the miseries or the dangers, Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, Adi Devik, possibly happening in different times, possibly happening in different, all these different places. So time, place, circumstances, all these types of miseries are being, getting nullified by this Narayan Kavach shield. And in this verse particularly, he is kind of now moving towards summarizing the whole, Narayan Kavacha. In which now he is saying that all the transcendental forms, carriers, weapons, everything just protect us. So it's kind of from being general, it went specific, and from specific it is going back to general way of protecting. And in this verse in particular, his various weapons and carriers and so on and so forth is being described. And Prabhupada in purport is making a point that that there are various associates of the Lord, and these all associates, I mean, he is saying the sword is also an associate, the club is also an associate, the chakra is also associate. Everything is an associate of Lord. And none of them is material, and they are non-different from Lord. They are one with Lord. So since they are one with Lord, then they can offer protection as good as Lord himself. So that's the point. And then Prabhupada is making the point of Advaya Gyan. So this Advaya Gyan interestingly comes in 1 to 11. We all know Vadanti Tat Tattva Vidas Gyanam Advayam. And the Bhagavatam starts, and the nature of absolute truth has to be described. Then this verse comes. Because the goal of human form of life is to inquire about this truth, Advaya Gyan. This is the goal of human form of life. And there are various goals people make. There are goals of sense enjoyment, but that's not actually the goal. Because the pleasure which comes from sense objects, the enjoyment is going to change. It is a result of one's karma, any which way. So there is no point making goals about it, because any which ways it is preset. So it's like this, you are playing a match which is already fixed. So if it is fixed, then why you are playing? And itself is kind of fixed already. The results are decided. So, there are so many people will state that, there are so many documentaries also will state that, more or less the financial systems is also fixed, everything is kind of fixed. So, the world is more or less fixed. That's a constitutional position of world. It's a fixed match. Because श्री श्री राधा वृंदावन चंद्र भगवान की, गौर निताय की, जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा मैया की जय. So it's a fixed match. But when somebody is at Annamaya level of consciousness, it doesn't look like fixed, It looks like, no, there is a possibility. So that's the level of, at the level of karmis, okay? Or the consciousness of a karmi. I'll not say karmis because sometimes we may also exhibit a sometimes, at least for me, I exhibit a lot of times. So the consciousness of a karmi. What that states is that no pleasure of sense objects is the goal. But that there's no point making a goal because the goal is already decided, is already fixed. So the previous karma is the cause of the result in case of somebody acting in the consciousness of karma or karmi. And then comes the next, is jnana or yoga. Even that is like, what ultimately a jnani or a yogi decides as a goal is that, let me have some siddhis or abnegate from this world, renounce this world, and so on and so forth. But that also is a manifestation of karma only. Because jnana is a result of nishkam karma. We know, right? Karma produces two things. Result of karma is of two forms. One is jnana, the other is actually the result which we enjoy. So Bhagavad Gita says, focus on the jnana part of it, and then one becomes actually experience. We give CVs, right? We talk work experience. What is the jnana you have gained from the work? So jnana is also, in one sense, result of one's karma. It is not result of anything else. It's again karma only. Of course, yogi also, it's a result of one's karma because one is abnegating so many things one's doing. And one has to be, of course, nishkam karma. To become a yogi also, one has to be a nishkam karma. One cannot be greedy. And one has to be so much of control is needed. So again, it's a result of karma. But bhakti is not result of karma. Bhakti is not a manifestation or transformation of karma. For a devotee, if he gets happiness, that is also result of bhakti. And if he gets some suffering, that is also result of the mercy of Lord in some way or form. So bhakti is independent of karma. Karma is what apparently looks like karma is not karma for a devotee, is manifestation or the result of bhakti only, not karma. Therefore, one has to focus on this goal. Because anyways now, if everything is decided, either if one is not on the platform of spiritual consciousness, it's decided by the previous karma. If not, if one is on spiritual consciousness, then it's decided by the bhakti of one's individual. So focus on something which we can control, focus on something which we can influence. Thus, focus on bhakti. Therefore, Bhagavatam says, just before this verse, Vadanti Tattva, that one should inquire the absolute truth. That is the goal of human form of life. That's how it gets established. And that goal of human form of life is Advaya Gyan. Advaya Gyan. Absolute truth. Non-dual knowledge. Prabhupada says, Advaya means non-dual. So this Advaya Gyan is realized by different people differently. Of course, Gyanis, they realize it as Brahman. Brahman means no qualities. There is quality. Of course, Brahman has quality. But there is no Shakti as such. And there is no, or rather, there is quality which is like only manifested as the spiritual power, but no additional qualities are there. So that's why it's Brahman. But there is no difference between Jiva and Brahman in that sense. Therefore, that's the form of Lord which at best is understood by somebody at the platform of Gyan level of consciousness, that he is Lord. And then comes Yogi, where one realizes the Paramatma feature of the Lord, where Lord is different from the Jiva. There is quality as well. There is Shakti as well. Quality of Paramatma is, he is Upadrishta and Anumanta. These are the two qualities of Paramatma. He gives the sanction for various activities and he is witness. He is witnessing everything, Upadrishta. And Bhagwan is the, infinite form of qualities and infinite form. So form is also infinite, but infinite form of knowledge and bliss with infinite qualities and infinite pastimes. Very, amazingly non-comprehensible definition of Bhagwan. He is infinite form of infinite pastimes, infinite qualities. So that's Bhagwan. And because the result of worshipping Bhagwan gives the highest manifestation of emotions, which is not present in Gyan or Yoga. Therefore, Bhagwan form is the supreme, because it is giving the maximum manifestation of emotion, the maximum plugging of the emotion. Just like in this world, if there is any relationship in which one experiences the maximum emotions, when you do that relationship, then everything else is covered. Just a simple example is that, like Lord, we say Madhurya Ras, it combines everything, it combines Vatsalya, it combines Dasya, Sakhya, everything is combined, okay? Because maximum emotions are there, maximum exchanges are there, maximum everything is there. So, taking that, understanding in a more broader sense, it is prema is the most fulfilled form of emotion, which even jnanis and yogis, they yearn after in one sense, in some different ways. But that is being fully manifested in the life of a devotee. Therefore, Bhagwan is a supreme form, and thus devotional life is the most complete form. It's not the supreme. The form is one only, but it's the most complete understanding of that form, one form. So that is Advai Gyan, that Lord is one. But He is having infinite qualities, He is having infinite pastimes, He is having infinite form of knowledge and everything. So that is Advai Gyan. So one who accepts this form of Lord is qualified for pure devotional service. Is qualified for pure devotional service. Now, how does Lord operate in this other? Because we are saying that no form of Lord is, this is one understanding of Lord, that Lord is having this knowledge and this form and this. But the other point is that no, Lord is non-different from His energies. So these two are actually one and the same thing. Lord is non-different from His energies, and thus He is having infinite pastimes and infinite qualities and infinite this and infinite abodes and infinite this. Is all is one only. Ultimately, the point is that Lord is one with His energies. And because Lord is one with His energy, yet at the same time He maintains His individuality. That is what defines His absolute nature. And Bhagavad Gita and Lord Krishna Himself talks about that in 9th chapter, in Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam. So He talks about this, that He first says that all the living entities are in me. And then He contradicts Himself in the next verse. He says that, no, all living entities are not in me. But one sense it's not contradictory. Point is that, the Lord as absolute, the Lord as the supreme power, by His will, He can execute different things. He doesn't have to do it Himself. But by His will, His energies will keep functioning. So in one sense, His energies are non-different from Him, because through His energies, He can function as good as Himself, but at the same time He doesn't have to Himself act. It happens just by His will. Therefore, this is an important point, that the absolute nature of the Lord is understood when we understand that His supreme will is very seamlessly working in this world. He is very seamlessly working through His different energies. Now, what is His principal energy? Which is, we say that Lord is different, non-different from His energy. But then what is His energy which He is talking about? Which He is non-different from. And that is called the Swarup Shakti of the Lord. Swarup Shakti is nothing but Radharani. Radharani is a full manifestation of Swarup Shakti. But then let's understand Swarup Shakti a bit better. Because impersonalism means we detach Lord and His energies. Oh, Lord is there, His form is there, everything is there. But He is not connected with His energies. That's impersonalism. Because you kind of differentiating them. And thinking that Lord is one with an energy and He doesn't have a separate existence, that is again Mayavad only. That is what that leads to the thinking of enjoyment, no, because Lord and his energies, they are one, but they are not different at all. So that's where the enjoyment comes in. And the Gyan based kind of renunciation of aversion comes by this, that Lord and his energies are separate, Lord and his energies are separate. They are not at all connected. Okay. So how Lord and his Swarup Shakti works is important to be understood, because that's that's what the goal of human form of life is, to understand how Lord operates with his Swarup Shakti. So the Swarup Shakti is manifested in three types. Okay. We know, it is Antaranga, Bahiranga and Jiva Shakti or Tatastha Shakti. These are the three types. So Chitta Shakti or Antaranga Shakti is one which is having complete qualities of the Swarup Shakti. Complete qualities are there. Okay. And so these three types of energies are important for us to understand that how Lord is operating in how he is creating this material world pertaining to us. Okay. And then a distorted reflection of this Chit Shakti is, or the Antaranga Shakti is Bahiranga Shakti. It looks absolutely same, but it's absolutely opposite. Just like when we look ourselves in the mirror, so the right hand is actually here, but actually the right hand is opposite, left hand, opposite. Everything is opposite. So similarly, the Bahiranga Shakti and Antaranga Shakti are absolutely opposite in every sense. Okay. So what variety we see over here, that's the only similarity. That there is variety here, there is variety there. But then the nature of that variety is absolutely opposite. Okay. Absolutely opposite. It is North Pole and South Pole. Okay. So that is a Chit Shakti of the Lord and Bahiranga Shakti and Tatastha Shakti. I'll not go too much into details. But there is another three types of manifestation of Swarup Shakti. And that is called Ladini, Samvit and Sandhini. These are the three types of Shakti. Now that is something which is getting discussed over here. That is a type of Swarup Shakti. Why is getting discussed over here? So Ladini Shakti is what? Ladini Shakti gives pleasure to the Lord. Of course, whole Swarup Shakti is Radharani herself. Okay. And Ladini Shakti is also termed as Radharani. She takes sometimes, the Prime Minister takes the job of the Home Minister, because that's where the real, everything is. The most difficult affairs are. So we see that sometimes Home Ministry is under the Prime Minister. So Ladini Shakti, because it's all about giving pleasure to the Lord, is Radharani herself. Okay. And then there is Samvit Shakti. Samvit Shakti is what? Between different devotees and all the kinds of relationship, different servants being created. All this is Samvit Shakti. And Sandhini Shakti is about this villages and the mountains of spiritual world, the club, weapons, carriers, all these are part of the Sandhini Shakti of the Lord. But we should not think that Sandhini Shakti is less than Samvit Shakti or it is less than Ladini Shakti. Even the smallest Shakti in our material conception can have the full power of Lord getting manifested. Just like we should not differentiate between Matsya Avatar and Krishna. We should not. Because in potency they are absolutely same. There is no difference. There is no difference actually. Only thing is the manifestation of power is different according to the pastime which is there. Similarly, these energies also, they are actually fully potent. Only thing is that the role which they perform according to which the manifestation. So from our material sense, and that's what Lord Krishna says, avjananti mamuda. That somebody should not try to understand this by mood buddhi. Otherwise one will misunderstand the absolute nature of Lord and his energies also. One will absolutely misunderstand. So we'll come to the practical aspect of the same also. But then this is what the Swarup Shakti is all about. Swarup Shakti is Ladini, Samvit and Sandhini. And Sandhini Shakti is what getting discussed over here. The bow, the club, the disc, and all these different Govardhan hill is all part of Sandhini Shakti of the Lord. Okay. And Lord is non-different from that. Lord is absolutely non-different from that. Okay. Now, interestingly, later in Bhagavatam, just to give the pastime perspective to this is, we fast forward, then we see go in 9th canto. In 9th canto, we see Durvasa Muni, he offends Amrish Maharaj. And there's very interesting contrast which happens between Durvasa Muni and the way he is functioning and how Ambrish Maharaj functions, which gives us an understanding that who is qualified to uh, understand the Advaya Gyan of Lord. Okay. So what happens, we all know that Ambrish Maharaj was fasting for Ekadashi, and then Durvasa Muni comes and he goes for a long bath and he doesn't come back. And he has to break his Ekadashi, so he takes some water after consultation with Brahmanas and everything. And then finally, Durvasa Muni arrives, and he is very angry. He's absolutely angry. And he creates a demon to kill Ambrish Maharaj. Now, when he does that, then without Ambrish Maharaj, here we are having Narayan Kavach and so many prayers going on. No, may this protect me, may this protect me, this kill enemies, may this kill. But that's the level of Ambrish Maharaj. He didn't, I mean, the default setting of Narayan Kavach is already there for him. So Ambrish Maharaj automatically the disc came in, okay, without his asking. And why it came, we'll just connect it to Lord himself when he says that in Bhagavad Gita. We'll come to that. But then this is very interesting pastime that Sudarshan Chakra comes in. The disc is getting discussed over here. Discussion of disc. So Sudarshan Chakra comes in, and Durvasa Muni, first of all, the demon is being killed, and then Durvasa Muni is given the run for life. He keeps running from this planet to that, and then he goes to Brahma. Brahma bolta hai, bhai, hamari auqat hi nahi hai. We don't have anything. You have to go. No, I can't do anything. No, we ourselves are at the mercy of Lord. Still, he doesn't catches the point. He goes to Shiva, and there also he is being told, okay, sorry, no entry. Please go ahead. And then he goes to Vishnu. Still, he doesn't catches the point. And then he goes to Vishnu, and Vishnu says that it is beyond my control also. You can't help because my devotee. And then Vishnu gives the glorification of his devotee, how the Vaishnav is. And actually it is infallible. Durvasa Muni is called infallible. If you see 9th canto, it describes as infallible Brahmana. So he goes to Vishnu, and Vishnu says, no, beyond my control also. And then he explains the glories of devotees, and then he goes to Ambrish Maharaj. Now here is an interesting point. Ambrish Maharaj prays to Sudarshan Chakra. And Sudarshan Chakra, he offers wonderful prayers to Sudarshan Chakra, and he says that the meaning of Sudarshan is being explained over there. That Sudarshan means the glance of Vishnu. The glance of Vishnu which creates this material world. So Sudarshan Chakra is there explained as the cause of material creation. Sudarshan Chakra is the effective cause of material creation. So this is because we think that the Karanadaksha Vishnu and the glances and all that. Sudarshan is the efficient cause. Okay. So Lord is so amazing, his different weapons and their meanings and how it happens. The point is that Ambrish Maharaj prays to the Sudarshan Chakra. He could have responded differently. I could have just forgiven him and things would have gone, but then he prayed. Now this is the point, that his realization of the absolute nature of Lord is so firmly fixed that he understands that Sudarshan Chakra is the person. And he is praying to him. Durvasa Muni doesn't catch that point. He keeps going to different demigods and he goes to Vishnu. That's the contrast between a devotee and non-devotee consciousness. Where a devotee consciousness or when one is in devotional consciousness, one is a pure devotee, he understands the real position of everything. He understands the real position of everything. And if one is not in that consciousness, there is no point, there is no scope, and there is no hope to understand more. Because who can be more learned than Durvasa Muni? Nobody. We cannot expect somebody to have more knowledge than Durvasa Muni. He is like the best. I mean, he's blessing Radharani as well. He's not a ordinary personality. We had in Chandan Yatra, Durvasa Muni blesses Radharani, that kind of pastime was there. So Durvasa Muni is no ordinary soul. But even he gets bewildered because it's not about knowing something. It's about Lord blessing with that Gyan. Lord blessing with that Advaya Gyan. There is no other way. There's no other way. Okay. And how that happens is there in this, Lord Krishna himself gives that understanding of that. Yeah. What he says, text 13 and 14. Mahatmanastu mam partha devim prakriti maashta bhajanti ananya manaso gyatva bhutatim avyayam. those of profound mind. So those who take shelter of my spiritual energy, uh, take shelter of my spiritual energy, spiritual swaroop, okay, serve my human form with no distractions, okay. They don't serve with any distractions because they have taken shelter of Lord's swaroop Shakti, of the Lord. Mahatmanastu Mam Partha. And what is the next verse which says? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantascha dridavrata namasyantascha mam bhaktya nityayukta upasate. So this verse explains that who is actually qualified to understand the Rajguhyam, which is getting explained over here as Advaya Gyan. What is that? One who is constantly, repeatedly engaged in uh, devotional activities. In what? In Yatanta. Yatanta means in association of devotees. In association of devotees, one is engaged in devotional service. Repeatedly, one is doing that. And then it is possible for one to understand the Advaya Gyan of the Lord. So, absolute truth is thus understood by somebody who is repeatedly engaged in devotional service in association of devotees. That is only way by which one will be able to take shelter of the Swarup Shakti of the Lord. Because unless the Radharani or the mercy of Radharani or her associates, the spiritual master is not there, it is not possible to realize this Advaya Jnana. Now the point is that what stops us in doing this? Because in one of the places it is being mentioned by our acharyas that even devotees who don't understand this, they will not get liberation actually. Okay, so there's a possibility that even sometimes performing devotional life will not understand Advaya Gyan. Okay, it is possible. It is one of those places it is mentioned by the acharyas. So why it is possible that devotees also may sometimes miss on this point, So there are three, levels at which we can goof up to understand this. The one is of course, the philosophical aspect of it. Okay, we know Chaitanya Charitamrita says one should not have laziness in understanding the philosophical truth, because philosophical truth is such that if it not reflected on, read regularly, then it gets lost. Just like in engineering, knowledge is lost. If let's say I did engineering, how many of us? Lot of us did the engineering, right? But we forget engineering. We were not using it. No, it's not getting used. When knowledge is not being used, it gets lost. Okay, it gets lost. Prabhupada in one of the lectures he says that I have given you gem and you are keeping in your tijori and you are not opening it up and using it. What's the point? He makes that point. The knowledge is not being used, then it's actually no. So Advaya Gyan by default we get as devotees. When by shiksha of our acharyas we understand that we are the servant of the Lord and that's our real identity and we keep serving, then automatically this Gyan gets realized and manifested and all. So that's the first point, that first of all, laziness in understanding that Gyan itself is a problem. When we come in devotional life, we basically accept it. We are quite eager to understand about this Gyan. But when time passes on, that eagerness goes down. Okay, we need something. Sometimes it happens. It goes down. So at least, and sometimes it may not be eagerness as grahastha. Sometimes it may be just the the lack of time or lack of time, whatever so-called lack of time or whatever. It may just go deprioritized. Because chanting anyways we do, right? Chanting 16 rounds will anyways happen by hook or by crook. But what will not happen is reading. What will not happen is regular touch with the Advaya Gyan. And when that doesn't happen, it is achintya way, and this knowledge gets covered. It just gets covered, and there is no way to bring it back if the regular reading is not happening. So at least in as good as that, when like in brahmachari ashram, then definitely there are so many avenues. But as grahasthas also these avenues have to be created. I think there are definitely some reading groups happening and all those things. The point is, this is the first point. Because by nature, like, no, there is in this material energy, we'll get infected. No, it's just like COVID, We are not as cautious as we were in COVID, no, with mask and everything. Generally, there is a tendency of becoming careless, and that's where it gets attacked. Unless we are reading regularly Srila Prabhupada books, then it is impossible actually, impossible. So that's the first point. So philosophical detachment is the first problem by which this will get this thing. Second level, okay, this is a philosophical level, and then the level of the second level is more about, I'll say, the abhideya level, so that was more about sambandha. There's more of abhideya level. How we are practicing our devotional life, how we are situated in devotional life. That is also a very important point, because if we are not, and that is being illustrated in, in Gajendra's pastimes, we have that pastime, and Prabhupada mentions that point that one has to be, because one is taking the sword and one is about to fight with Maya, the sword is there now, but are you in the position to fight with Maya? So that's an important point. How one is, it's not about just the ashram perspective of it. It is much more than that. It's about one's comfort level or one's confidence in fighting, one's confidence, one's occupation, how one is peacefully engaged in one's mind. That is very important. One is broadly kind of satisfied in one's life. That's very important. That's very, very important, because unless that is there, let's say, I'm not satisfied, where I'm fighting. You can't, difficult. It's difficult. It's going to be difficult, right? So it's about being satisfactorily, engaged and satisfactorily managing our mind and conditionings is very, very important for us to. Otherwise, we'll just take that sword and kill ourselves only. Sometimes we'll commit philosophical suicides, We'll take philosophy in some way and push it into ourselves, and that way it may happen, right? So that's the second aspect of it. That why, for a devotee, it may get, maghopash, it will get uncovered. It will not get covered. It will be difficult because one is not able to fight. Only one is drowning himself. The sword is there, but then it's just drowning. One is not comfortable. And the third part is, even if one is comfortable, even if one is not neglecting any part of one's life, and even if one is situated in balance, the third part is the finer aspects of devotional life, where Lord Chaitanya Charitamrita, it defines a lot. That's where Prabhupada used to say that it's a postgraduate study, Chaitanya Charitamrita, because once you have settled this, now comes Chaitanya Charitamrita, because it talks of, even if one is philosophically perfect, everything is understood, one is very well situated, one knows in one situation how one has to perform, plan is there, willingness is there, everything is there. But here comes the problem, the cultural aspect of it. And that creates a problem. That's where Chaitanya Charitamrita comes in. That's where Chaitanya Charitamrita describes the cultural aspect of what devotional life is all about. Like Lord Chaitanya, before taking initiation, Janani Prabhu talks about this, that even if we study Lord Chaitanya's behavior as a devotee, that also one will get perfection. Even not as a Supreme Lord, but even as a devotee, if we study his life, that also leads to perfection. So what happened in case of Lord Chaitanya before initiation? He was like arrogant, right? Winning debates, calling people, crushing them, this, that, so many things. And then when he got initiation, no more that arrogance, no more that thing. So there was a transitioning. So this finer aspects is a lot to do with so many things, about our devotional attitude, about how much we are interested in basically defeating others, how much we are interested in so much in right and wrong, and not so much on the consciousness part of it. Okay, all these are very finer things, and they also sometimes inhibit our growth. They block us. Okay, externally we understand everything, but then that quality of forgiveness, that quality of forgetting, that quality of that art of striking relationships amongst devotees, That is the understanding of Chaitanya Charitamrita. That is very important. Because spiritual world is what? I mean, what are we going to do? I mean, there is Krishna and we are here sitting chanting. No. It's all about relationships. It's all about relationships, nothing else. So, how we have to form relationships based on our philosophy, based on the proper understanding, how we have to strike those relationships and how we have to nurture those relationships is what Chaitanya Charitamrita. When those are not happening, then even though, and we experience that also sometimes when like no everything is going fine, but we feel stuck in our devotion. We feel like no there is a blockage happening even though everything is going fine, but it's not working out. What is the problem? The problem is there is some attitude which is kind of hit us as an iceberg, which is which has taken away all the the water has entered our ship, somewhere. So it has to be repaired. So these are the three aspects in which absolute truth, because that's what this whole Narayan Kavach, when it started, there's a very important verse which comes, and because after finishing this chanting, one should think himself qualitatively one with Supreme Personality Godhead, and there the terms comes ahangra ho pashana. It means meditating oneself. I mean, actually one with Lord means qualitatively one with Lord. So, but how will that happen? Is by this. When that is not happening, this meditation gets broken, then we think, Hare, Lord will protect or not protect, whether they are actually same, whether this is that, whether this is that, whether... And for us, it's actually about holy names, Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis. Holy name is endowed with all such potencies, but then it becomes difficult to move ahead and realize the potencies of holy names in our life. That's what it becomes. So stop here. Any comments, any questions? Yeah. Abhidya, yeah.
Not about external bhasha, but it's more about how we are comfortable, how we are not like so to say comfortable, but confident and able to fight with Maya, satisfactorily.
No, comfortable also, because we cannot be uncomfortable for a long time.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And so when it came to third thing, so is it about the prayojana?
I mean, yeah, one can say that.
Thing. And second thing which you mentioned, that also, that comfort means what? Because exactly what it means to be comfortable, because it's not possible in the sense of in truth.
No, so our philosophy is like achinta bheda bheda. We have to simultaneously uncomfortable and comfortable. So if we are just purely comfortable, then also it's a problem. But if we are purely uncomfortable, that also becomes a problem. There are festivals, we become uncomfortable. And on a regular day, if you are uncomfortable, then how long? So the point is that if one has to first of all accept what are one's limitations. The point of becoming comfortable comes when you accept what you are. That's where the beginning point is. Acceptance of one's limitations, acceptance of one's introspecting and understanding what is one's and then comes the point of rectifying it with with proper understanding in proper way, and then actually one becomes comfortable. So let's say if I poked a toothpick on the back, I mean, I have to accept that there's a toothpick in the back that has to be removed, and then I become uncomfortable. So there has to be something which, if at all it is bothering, it's not that we have to create a botheration for ourselves, because there'll be some botheration any which ways in this world. But we are broadly not bothered, it is fine. But if something is bothering us, then we have to accept that there's a botheration, and then we have to rectify it in a proper way. Now, what that botheration, it depends on that. It may be mental health for some. It may be mental health for some. It may be some very bad habit for someone. How it is coming, what is coming. I mean, just brushing it inside the rug that, no, okay, that will not help. We have to understand what is the source of that habit, why it is happening. I'm just giving an example, That bad habit is making us uncomfortable. Or it may be some very poor mental health, You can't really see it externally. It's there internally. It has to be rectified. You're making you uncomfortable. That's how it is. So it depends.
Who we are and understanding who we are
Yeah.
and what are our limitations is one part of being comfortable.
Actually, it's a very big aspect. Because conditionings are more powerful than senses, They rectify, when they say subtle elements are more powerful than gross elements, the rectification of subtle elements is even more powerful. It's even more powerful. That's why I say when, there were some things I have been dealing with on this, but what I understand is that, mind also is a very powerful entity. It gets rectified also, it gets cured also very powerfully. The only thing is you have to give the allowance to get it cured. If you don't allow it only, then what will happen? That's the point. But point is, unless first one accepts, then there is no question of identifying the problem. One is not identifying the problem, one is not healing or rectifying it properly. That's a very important aspect, because we go on, sometimes in Krishna conscious facade we may continue. That no, let me try to rectify this in this way, this way. So it's a very detailed discussion, but then that's the point, That's the point. But devotional service flourishes in happy state of mind. That's where devotional service flourishes. It's not that happy state of mind is sahajiya state of mind. Sahajiya means no austerity, but a healthy blend of austerity and happiness. That's very important. Right. Makes sense.
Second part about culture.
Yeah.
Is it about?
Yeah, one can say prayojan, because ultimately, all these things are ultimately leading to good relationships. If we are, point is, if we are in isolation, being introvert is not a problem. Being isolated is a problem. If you try to isolate yourself from devotees, from situations, from people, it's something else. Because spiritual world is not about isolation, It's not, there's no lockdowns happening in spiritual world, by the way. So everybody is like interacting with everyone. So we have to learn to interact. In a Vaishnava way, of course. Correcting things, correcting relationships, dealing with different kind of, it's very important aspect. These are important aspects actually, because they inhibit because what happens if, definitely they'll inhibit our progress, and then we'll try to give a Krishna conscious, sometimes reasoning to it. But that's not about that. Something else. I can talk more from the husband-wife relationship also. So, it may be like, you may think that, no, this is Maya, that is Maya, nonsense. You don't know how to strike a relationship with your wife. What you will do with others? Nothing. Not possible. So, relationship is very important. We have to understand. Lord is why He is doing all this Chitta Shakti, Swarup Shakti and this different forms. That it's all about exchange of relationships. Nothing else. Wow. It's all about exchanges of relationship. It's all about that. It's all about that, nothing else. That is the point which is here. Makes sense?
You said about finer aspects of forgiveness and all these things are there involved, which are quite deep in that sense. So it's that we need such environment to actually experience the prayojana. No? Such
environment
culture,
is always
culture.
there. Environment is always there. See, point is that when we shift the responsibility from self to externals, that's where the problem comes in. Environment, that's feminine mentality, feminine psychology. Masculine means what? My responsibility. Feminine is his responsibility. That's the basis of husband-wife relationship. Why Bhagavatam is talking about this is because of this reason. You take responsibility of that relationship. Krishna takes responsibility of his relationships. He ensures. You don't see Radharani is angry or this is angry or that, and he gets angry. Hamara roz chalta rehta hai, yahi bakwas. But taking responsibility in relationship is a big thing. It means giving up ego. It's not an easy thing. And that's the best way to get rid of, the false masculine ego. It doesn't mean losing one's dignity for sure, but it doesn't mean, generally one has to be like that, Because we are saying that no, this life is temporary, this is temporary, that is temporary. How many friends and enemies will create in one life? It's up to us to decide. With that is the goal or not. Generally, these things create a problem for us. Makes sense. And then there is obviously, one doesn't see that how philosophy is helping us to build all these things, and thus we don't see the connection, and thus we lose interest in the philosophy and then the process itself. Because Sambandha Gyan means actually understanding Prayojan Gyan as well. Sambandha Gyan includes, doesn't mean Sambandha Gyan, it means the Gyan of Prayojan also, and Abhidheya also, and everything is part of Sambandha Gyan. So we need to understand the value of these things in order to keep ourselves motivated, and how it is connected, how all these things are connected. It's very important for us to understand. Makes sense? Srila Prabhupada ki Gaur Premanande Hare Hare Bol.